Up until this point, this crocheter has only ever used a plain metal hook and believed all hooks were created equal. Until now. Today, she boldly prepares to try a brand named hook for the very first time.
Hello you guys, and welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Morgan and I'm the maker behind LA Crochet, and if you're one of my fabulous returning crochet friends, then hey, welcome back. In today's video, guys, we are going to be doing something that we have never done before, and that is trying a clover hook for the very first time. Now, if you know me, you know that I am just a plain Jane girly when it comes to hooks. This is the hook that I use all of the time. It's just a plain, no-name metal hook. This blue color back here, that's the original color, but you can see I've used it so much that all of the coloring on the end there has been worn off. This is literally what I use all the time. It's pretty much all that I've ever used. I have never tried a name brand hook besides, I think it's pronounced Boy. I do have a few of these Boy hooks, which I do also really like. Again, just a plain metal hook. And I've heard people rave so much about clover hooks. They say that they're like the best hooks out there. They will change your life. And I am ready to experience what all of the hype is about. So in this video, we are going to be reviewing the clover hook from a completely unbiased source. And we are going to be answering the question, is the clover hook hype worth it? Before we get into it though, be sure that you like this video and subscribe. A few announcements before we get started. If you see my lovely gaggle of cowboy Brontos back here, I am so incredibly excited to share that the cowboy Bronto pattern is officially out now on my Etsy. You guys, this pattern is completely no-sew and all of the different features are removable. So it comes with instructions on how to make the cowboy hat, also the bandana, which is of course removable, and then the iconic banana along with the banana holster that is also removable. So it's also an adorable built-in no-sew Brontosaurus pattern. I have to say my favorite part about this pattern is definitely the banana holster. I also made a Diva cowboy Bronto version of this pattern, and of course because everything is removable, you can mix and match all of the accessories. And in case you didn't know, I am on Patreon. My lovely Patreon members exclusively tested the cowboy Bronto pattern for me, and they're also going to be exclusively testing my next pattern too. Suspicious Ostrich, you guys. I love him so much. Just look at that face. He is definitely the most suspicious fella around, but let me give you guys the full 360. I gave him all of this feathery detailing on the back here and on the wings and on the neck. He's got his two little individual toes for his legs, and then of course the iconic face, which, I mean, I think I should just leave right now and Sus Ostrich should take over the rest of this video. On my Patreon, we do exclusive pattern tests, finalized patterns, Zoom hangouts, plushie pageants, Patreon lives, bonus content, blooper reels, just so much stuff. So if you guys would like to join our community, the link is in the top of the description box below. But alrighty, you guys, without further ado, let's unbox this clover hook. Okay, so I have to give a huge shout out to Consuelo. Consuelo was so sweet and sent me this clover hook because she just really wanted me to try clover hooks. So thank you so much, Consuelo. I am so excited to try this out. Let's unbox it, you guys. This came in about 2 weeks ago and I decided that I wanted to film like a dedicated review video for it. So it's just been sitting in my packing corner. I've just been staring at it the whole time, eagerly wanting to open it. By the way, you guys, let me just share with you my view for the past few days. This is what my view has been like ever since I designed him a few days ago. I'm also working on another one over there. All right, you guys, let's unbox it. Ah, there she is, the iconic clover hook. So of course this is a size H. It is a 5mm hook, and 5mm hook is pretty much the most common hook that I use. I design most of my patterns first and foremost in Parfait Chunky yarn, and I usually pair that with a 5mm hook. So this says bright and fun color, easy grip handle. Oh, and I did not know this. It is also made in Japan. Alrighty, and now for the moment of truth. Wow, there she is, the iconic clover hook, you guys. First impressions, I will say the grip feels pretty nice. Of course, as you guys know, I'm typically using this plain metal hook. One of the reasons I really don't use grips a lot is because I find the grip actually to be a little bit restrictive. Whenever I'm crocheting, I always find that the grip will sometimes get in the way of the yarn and the yarn will kind of get stuck on the hook, if that makes sense. So like for this one right here, I have a little grippy on my 8mm hook, but this one, I actually slide it back a little bit so that I don't have that problem. I don't know if anybody else feels that way or if I'm just strange, but this one one does look slightly further down on the hook than some other ones that I've tried in the past, like this one here before I yanked it down. So hopefully that won't be a problem for this one. Love the blue color as well. Definitely a classic. And let me give you guys a close up. So that is what it looks like. It's got like a nice rubbery material here on the grip portion. And then of course we have this metal portion up here. And it says that that metal portion is made out of aluminum, or aluminium if you're across the pond. I love the way that those with English accents say aluminum. It sounds so much better than the way we say it, aluminium. All right, now let's actually test out this hook. So to test it out, I am going to be making one of the Larry the Land Turtles from my 10-in-1 bundle pack. I'm going to be making the Blueberry Larry, or the Blueberry variation, or the Larryation. There's so many different plays on words that we use. And I'm going to be using Parfait Chunky by Premier Yarns. So this is a size 6 super bulky yarn, and we're going to be using the shades navy and light blue. Of course, depending on the yarn that you're using, your experience with the hook will be different. But like I said, this is one of the yarns that I use most often, so this is going to be like a really good test for me to see how I feel about it. Okay, so now it is time for the moment of truth, my very first magic ring ever with a clover hook. So we're starting with the Larry the Land Turtle tail here. Wow. Okay, I have to say this is actually very surprising to me. Woo! Okay, that was very, very smooth. So this is really like gliding on the hook here. And like I said, one of the things that I was most worried about was not having enough room to work because of the little grippy on the hook, but this is actually like the perfect amount of space between the tip of the hook and the actual grip portion. So that is the first thing that I can speak on, is that this is actually working really, really smoothly. The other thing is this material. So one of the reasons I've never really tried any other hooks was just because the metal hooks were fine for me. I never really felt that big of a drive to try any other hooks because I just kind of thought that like the metal would feel the exact same. But I can confirm for you guys that it actually does not. So I actually want to see if I can capture this on camera. And maybe here, now that I have it folded in half, you guys will be able to hear kind of like the texture of it. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's kind of like a soft brushing sound as I'm crocheting with the yarn. Okay, so I just looked it up. It does say that they used brushed aluminum hooks. So I guess that's what gives it that kind of like smoother texture. So you might be able to see on my hook here, it's just kind of plain metal. It's very shiny. Doesn't really look brushed at all. But on the clover hook, it's not quite as shiny. But anyway, there's my first little tail for my land turtle. Now we're going to move on to making the legs. And I have to say, you guys, so right off the bat here, first impressions, I am very, very impressed. I was definitely skeptical about Clover, or kind of any of the name brand hooks really. I've always just kind of felt like my metal hook was all reliable and I really didn't need to try anything else. But honestly, this feels way, way different than my regular metal hook. But I will say this little grippy on here is nice, and it's actually a lot different than this grippy that I have on here. I mean, number one, this one slides all over the place, but also I needed it to do that because I didn't have enough room to work with. But two, this feels more ergonomic, if that makes sense. Like that one just kind of feels like a grippy. It doesn't really feel like there's very much shape to it at all, but this one I actually feel like it fits in my fingers, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. It actually like fits the shape that my hand wants to be in, rather than just being kind of like a random piece of rubber that's on the hook. Also, I don't know if I have to say this, but obviously this is not sponsored by Clover or anybody. I just wanted to like give a fully honest review of the Clover hooks and see how I like them, especially as someone who has been crocheting for over 2 years now, who has a crochet business, who has made countless plushies, and has never tried a name brand hook before. This is actually kind of changing my life here. And now I'm wondering if I need to be worried that now I'm going to need a Clover hook in every size. This is how they get ya, I know it. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a close up here. I of course use a knife grip when I crochet, so if you're someone who uses the pencil hold, then you might feel a little bit differently. differently about the hook. I have tried doing the pencil grip so many different times and my brain just cannot comprehend how that even works. If you're someone who does do the pencil grip, let me know in the comments, like, what tips do you have for doing that? When you first started crocheting, was that just automatically easier for you, or did you kind of teach yourself how to do that? Also, you'll have to let me know if you can crochet both ways or if you only crochet with the pencil grip. And is there anybody out there who switches between knife and pencil grip? I need to know, because stuff like that really fascinates me. The more that I'm crocheting with this and the more I'm getting comfortable with it, I'm trying to go faster and faster, kind of at my normal speed that I'm used to. And I will say that the yarn is slipping off the hook a lot more frequently than it does with my other hook. And that just might be user error, I guess, or I just need to get used to it, because it definitely does feel slightly different. And of course the actual like hook is different and the distance of it. Now, I know it's probably just me and I need to get used to it, but for this round, I'm going to switch back to my normal hook and I'm gonna see how much of a difference there is. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. You guys, this difference is actually crazy. So the biggest difference that I notice is, and it's so funny that it wasn't really that noticeable to me until I switched back to it. That's when I really felt it. But the big noticeable difference to me is actually the way that the yarn glides on the hook. So you can tell with this hook here that the yarn really is not gliding as easily as it did on the Clover hook. And I think that's because, like we were saying before, they used brushed aluminum for their hooks. Whereas this one, who even knows? I can't even remember where I got this hook. I think I got this hook like right when I first started crocheting. And it sure does look like it because I wore everything off of it. So for these last two rounds, I used my hook and the rest of these were made with the Clover hooks. It looks pretty much the same. I didn't really expect there to be a big difference with that. As long as they're both 5mm hooks, then it kind of makes sense that they would look the same. But I'm going to take a few minutes to make the rest of my legs and start the underbelly to my turtle. And I'm gonna try to take that opportunity to get a little bit more used to the Clover hook. I'm gonna try to build up my speed with it, because one of the criteria that I wanted to discuss with you guys is if the hook actually contributes to the speed of your crochet, which is something that I've never really thought about before because I've only ever used the one hook. So let's experiment. I'm gonna get used to this one and we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so I just finished the underbelly and all of the legs have worked in. I will say that I feel like the hook is slipping a lot less now that I'm crocheting more and more with it, but it's definitely still slipping significantly more than my other hook. I don't know if that's something that will go away over time as I get more and more used to it, or if it is because of the grip and having less space to work with, or even just the fact that the aluminum is brushed so it slips off a lot easier. It could also be this pattern. So of course most of the turtles in the Larry the Land Turtle pack are completely no-sew, and all of the legs work up into one piece. So just crocheting those pieces together, I don't know, and kind of maneuvering the hook in that way, maybe that causes it to slip off more often as well. But while I was crocheting, so I actually found a Clover hook Reddit thread in which someone's talking about using a Clover hook for the very first time, and I thought that I would read it because I'm seeing a lot of similarities here. So this person says, just started a huge and fiddly project, and when ordering yarn I thought, what the heck, let's get a Clover hook in the size I need just to try it out and prove Reddit wrong. Really, I thought it would be no difference to the Amazon hook set I own and have crocheted with for years. I was wrong and you were correct, Reddit. When trying the hooks side by side, the difference was impossible to ignore. Wow, this sounds like me. I mean, obviously I definitely wasn't like a Clover hook hater. I was just skeptical and wasn't sure if it would live up to the hype or not. Feel kind of mad that I bought the Clover because now I know how it feels and will need more of them, lol. I definitely feel that because now I'm kind of wondering if I need to get it in the 6.5 and the 8mm as well. The top comment says, literally me when I got my Clovers. I'm not a brand snob about anything but my crochet hooks. This person says, it's so rare that things really live up to the hype. That is so true. This person says, one of us, one of us. And then this last person says, welcome to the club. Something that I have noticed while crocheting more stitches with this hook is that when you're crocheting stitches like bobble stitches or double crochets and things like that, where you have more than one loop on your hook at a time, those those do feel a lot easier to pull through, I think because of the brushed aluminum. Sometimes on certain hooks, especially with bobble stitches, it can feel kind of difficult to pull through all 5 of those loops just because you have so much going on the hook. But this hook just pulls straight through it, and like right now I'm doing a bunch of double crochets, and as you can see, it's working really smoothly as I go. Right now I am adding the little frill detailing that's going to make up the blueberry on his body. Okay guys, major update. So I just finished making the body for the blueberry turtle. It's very funny at this point because it literally just looks like a blueberry with 4 legs and a tail. But I will say, as I finished crocheting the shell, it was not slipping at all. So I think it's just me getting used to the hook, getting used to how slippery the metal is. But I think as I was making the top of the shell, it maybe slipped like 4 or 5 times, really not that much, which is very exciting and might mean that I'm slowly transforming into a Clover crochet girly. But all right guys, let's finish the last step for our turtle, and that is to crochet the head directly into the body. And for eyes, I'm going to be using these gorgeous 30mm sinker eyes, these blue sparkly ones by Christine with What's Up Cupcake. Alright you guys, we have just finished our blue Blairy. Look how cute he is! I love these eyes so much, these blue sparkly eyes. What's Up Cupcake always knocks it out of the park. By the way, you guys, like I said, Larry is a completely no-so. He is part of my 10-in-1 Larry the Land Turtle food and flower mod pack. It's actually almost 12-in-1 if you kind of like mix and match some of the colors. You can make some grape and raspberry Larrys as well, but there's fruit Larrys, flower Larrys, hamburger Larrys, and I completely sold out of them at my last Palm Street market, so I definitely need to make some more of them, which is why we made a blue Blairy for today's video. So final thoughts on the Clover hook, you guys. I feel so honored to now be able to say that I have finally tried out a Clover hook. We were discussing before speed. Do I think that the Clover hook has made me faster? I have to say no, I don't believe so. I didn't really notice an increase or decrease in speed. To be fair, I feel like it's about the same. If anything, it was a little bit slower towards the beginning when my yarn kept slipping off the hook, but as I crocheted more and more with it, as I got more used to the actual hook, that definitely was happening a lot less. So I think I was probably just crocheting at the exact same speed as I did before. I just feel like there's even less tension in my right hand because I'm not having to like use as much pressure, I guess, to pull the yarn through because everything just slips through so easily on this brushed aluminum. The shapes of the hooks themselves, as you can see, look to be pretty much about the same, so there's not really too much of a difference there. So now finally, for the moment of truth, is the Clover hook hype worth it? You guys, I have to say, completely unbiased, yes, the Clover hook hype is worth it. I am so shocked that I could tell that much of a difference. Up until today, I was kind of the mindset that a hook is a hook and they pretty much do the same thing. You can't really change that much between them. But I noticed the big difference when I switched back to my old hook and just how much less the yarn glided on the hook. The Clover was just so much easier. And at about $7 to $9 a pop, depending on where you get them. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them on Michaels. I do feel like it's a really nice investment, especially for someone who crochets a lot. Which means for me, I'm probably going to have to order at least the 6.5 and the 8mm hooks because those are the other two that I use most often after the 5mm hook. What do you guys think? Have you tried Clover hooks? Have you noticed a big difference in some other hooks that you've tried? Or were you like me? Were you sticking to old reliable, no name, just plain metal hooks because you thought there really wasn't a difference between the two? This really was such a joy to try, and I'm so excited that we got to film this video and do a whole kind of overview and review of the Clover hook, especially since I've had so many people tell me that I needed to try this. Are there any other crochet hook brands that you guys think that I have to try? I've heard really great things about Furls, and the other one always slips my mind. Oh, Fire, I think is the other one. After trying this one, now I'm thinking it might be a fun idea to get some 5mm of some different brands and do some side-by-side comparisons between them. So if you guys have any crochet hooks that you love to use, leave them for me in the comments. But anyway, you guys, that wraps it up for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and for coming along as I tried the Clover hook for the very first time. As always, if you guys were crocheting while watching this video, let all of us know what you're making in the comments and what hook you were using while doing it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye!